you guys are well. My name is Yolanda Yawa, aka Gassy Girl. Today's topic is a little bit of a touchy subject. I'm gonna quit singing. Let me say, I'm gonna quit performing live. Let me just take you back. I am born and raised in Gugulethu in Cape Town, and coming from the township really shaped me to who I am today. And I also started getting my first break at the age of 7 in church when I sang Amazing Grace as a soloist. Ever since I was small, music has been something that I felt like is just there as a calling, something to save me or to keep me busy during those times that it was tough at home, because I come from a home where there was a lot of physical and mental abuse. But this is a story for another day. So I've been performing literally for 40 years, and I'm now 47, and I wanted to serve and I wanted to make people happy. I've been with a number of bands, but the first one that is noteworthy is the Kani Naidu band. I met him at the Jazzathon office, and I went there because I wanted Craig, the owner of Jazzathon, to assist me in promoting me as a singer. At that time, I wasn't a singer, but I knew that I wanted a career in singing. I didn't have much knowledge about the industry, but I know that when I was with Women Unite Marimba Dance Band, we used to have Craig Parks as one of our agents. So for me, it was only natural to go to somebody that has experience in this industry, and we've also toured with him overseas, and he's also gotten us gigs overseas. So when I was there, then Craig said, actually, I'd like you to meet someone, and that was Kani Naidu. He was the accountant at the time and just started his jazz band. He's a jazz artist as well, and his music is amazing, and the songs that he writes, they just have so much depth. And when I listened to his music, it was something that I felt that I could resonate with, and I could feel his passion in his music. And at the time he played guitar, he also did some vocals. So I remember with him, we did a cover of Ain't No Sunshine. Me being a Xhosa girl, I wanted to always put myself and my culture in whatever I do in my music. That's at that time. And we did this Xhosa English version of Ain't No Sunshine, which was really amazing. And Kanye was such a breeze to work with, and he really inspired me. And I used to go to his home that he shared with his wife in Kenilworth, and we used to rehearse there because they had a home studio as well. It was really great, and we had done a couple of gigs, and one of the gigs that we did, I forgot now the name of the event, but it was a community festival in Wynberg, and this is where I was discovered by Tukan or Frank Paco and Mira Mako at the time. And then I was recruited to be a backing vocalist and also a dancer, because I could really move those days. I can still move a little bit. I can still do my thing at 47 and this weight. But at the time I was skinny as a log. But anyway, that's story for another day. So from Tukan, it was absolutely amazing, and my journey there just catapulted into something that is beautiful. The performances and being in a space to be able to perform Afro-Latin jazz, which was something new to me, because I grew up listening to the late Mama Miriam, beautiful Whitney Houston, the late Mabr, and those were my guides in a way for music. So for me, this was a new territory which I really embraced gracefully. At some point, I had to pitch in, and we were performing at a jazz venue in the waterfront. Oh my gosh, I was so nervous because I don't know, there's something about jazz musicians that is just intimidating for me. And I haven't really been performing that much on stage, so I didn't have much performance experience with a band, and let alone being with jazz musicians, because I just feel they can be a little bit critical. I don't regret making some mistakes because it's really part of the journey, and it was also just a beautiful journey as well. And from there, I knew that I just wanted to be more than a backing singer and a dancer. I wanted to be a lead singer of a band. And then I went to the offices of Peak Performances and wanted them to maybe also represent me and assist me in finding musicians so that I can establish myself as a solo singer. And closely there as well, I was introduced to Carol from Coda because they were also looking for a vocalist. So I just felt that at least with Coda, it is en route to where I want to be as a solo artist, and that I would be the lead singer, and I was also made the face of the group. And I liked the dynamics of the group because there was a DJ, a cellist, and also a violinist. And yeah, so that was like a great journey for a few years. But when the journey ended, it was just time for me to stop. And coincidentally, a year or two back, before I stopped with the band, I had this nightmare, a dream, where I was at the back of the room entering, and I had my microphone, and the band members were on stage, and I was trying to sing, but nobody could hear me, and the performance was going on, and nobody could hear me sing. And after the dream, I was like, oh my gosh, I was so worried. What does this dream mean? And a year or two later, we had a gig in Johannesburg, and it was a gig that was on live television. I can't remember what the event was. We were first at the airport at the rental car agency and waiting for Carol because we had rented a car to take us to the venue. And I remember I was like just having a conversation with Ray, the violinist, and then her violin slipped from the trolley, and in an attempt to save the violin because it would have broken, I just slid and stopped it with my leg so that at least it has a little bit of a softer landing before it fell. And when I did that, then I sprained my back. And now this is where the nightmare started. And I remember I couldn't move, I don't know, my lower waist and my shoulder blade, they were sprained, and I was in so much pain. And then went to an emergency doctor there at the airport because this was really an excruciating pain. I was given a pain injection. Damn, that pain injection, it did a number on me because I started to slowly lose my voice. We did the sound check at the venue, and I think the gig was like about 2-3 hours or so from the time of the sound check. I was worried about my voice. It was really going, and that I couldn't save it. I remember one time we had a performance at the Cape Town Gardens, and there were thousands of people, and I had lost my voice, but I prayed and I channeled my mind power. And though there was no sound coming when I was speaking, when I got on that stage, God showed up for me. And I could perform. I pulled through. That time I knew that I possessed this power and this gift, and that God was abiding inside me, in my vocal cords and my heart. And also another time we're performing in Mount Nelson, a similar thing happened, but I could sing, and I don't know how, but it was a miracle. But now this third time, I could just feel my voice was so dry. I tried drinking tea with lemon and honey for all those hours. I remember sending Carol a text to say that I don't think I can perform. You have to do the gig without me, pays me to do this, but my voice is absolutely gone now. And that time I didn't even know that that was the effect of the injection. But for me, it was really strange how everything was going. They performed without me. And the reason why also I didn't feel comfortable to go on stage was that this was a live event. But I still got ready and was sitting at the back of the hall. It really pained me to see them performing, but they could pull the gig without me because luckily there were live instruments and the DJ, and it was only about 4 songs that we had to perform. That was one of the worst days in my life, not being able to sing. Then it hit me. This is what the dream meant. And I think that dream was actually more like a warning, that I think I was comfortable being with Coda, even though I knew that my purpose was bigger than that. But the universe just said, we are gonna take you down because you are not changing your course. And yeah, that was the beginning of the end of me as a vocalist in Coda. Maybe one day I will really discuss this in detail. But anyway, I moved on to being a solo singer. I released my first album, my second album, and I worked on a single, Bubomi Sana, and I've been performing. I moved to the Netherlands around about 2013. I was traveling back and forth, and in 2015 I got my residency permit. Then I could move here permanently. And so my music career took a little bit of a halt, but I still performed in South Africa. Of course, I was still known as a singer based in South Africa, and I didn't want to not get gigs because I was in the Netherlands, but I made sure that my fee covered my travel, and also it paid the band, and then I could have a little bit left. In the Netherlands, I have done some performances with a band and also solo performances. So yesterday, I was just recording and going on and on. I actually didn't even realize that the video stopped because I ran out of space. But then I had to go to work and I didn't have time to come back and record again. So I'm just carrying off from yesterday. So in the Netherlands, I have done quite a number of performances, and also in Germany. And yeah, it's been really good. But I found that as a singer, it was hard for me to break into the music scene because most of the people here do music as a hobby and I do it as a career. And I've sent hundreds of emails and people don't respond on emails. Also, people don't answer calls from numbers that they don't know. And I found that it was also difficult for me, but I had to work with what I had. And fortunately, I met amazing people that were willing to walk this journey with me. Peter, bassist, Monica, who was a keyboardist. My husband was also at one time in my band, but to keep our relationship healthy, it's best if he stops being in the band because he thinks that I'm a little domineering. But for me, I just take it as being assertive and actually knowing what is it that I want, but we're still best of friends and we make music at home at times. Fast forward to 2023. I started feeling a little bit uneasy in terms of where I am in my life and music. And I just felt like something has to change a little bit, because when I've performed, it was, and also when I perform my music in South Africa, it was different, because then people could understand my message. South Africa is my community. When you perform in a foreign country, it's different. I know that music has no language. If you have a certain message that you want to bring across, then I just feel like if people don't speak the same language, the message just gets lost into translation. And also being from Africa, I needed to be more of an entertainer to make people happy than to service with my message. I don't know if you understand what I mean. Then I really just started to get down. Singing live was not so fulfilling to me as it was before. And it just took me almost a year or so to actually realize that I want something different for myself. And this was validated when I performed in Schwabisch Hall in Germany this past June. I had done a performance arts exhibition and I didn't feel like singing. I wanted to get my message through because it was intertwined with my paintings, and the whole collection was called 21 to Life. I had pre-recorded spoken word with also some of the songs that I grew up with, Brenda Fassie and all of that. I'll put a link to some footage of my performance. And it was the first time that I did that kind of performance art installation. And it was so enriching and a powerful experience for me, and how the audience, mostly South Africans, could resonate with what I was saying. My message inspired them, and also how people were excited to buy my art. I never thought that I would have an influx of people excited and wanted to. And from that time onwards, then I had made a decision to explore my art, and I had already bought an indigenous music instrument called uhadi from South Africa, which was made specially for me. And I've been learning that. And I also bought a small like steel drum, and I'm still buying some more music instruments, especially like the indigenous ones. I've also started to write some songs that would be suitable for this kind of instruments with more soul. And I also want my sound to be more indigenous. But I started to doubt myself again, because, oh, why change what you've been doing all these years? Sometimes it's so easy to learn bad habits or to learn certain habits, but it's so difficult to unlearn all these habits. And with my experience, what I know is that when I don't listen to God, when I don't listen to the universe, then things are going to start crashing and I'm going to have disappointments. So, me learning from my mistakes of not listening to God, listening to my instincts, listening to the universe, has brought me to this decision that I am retiring from being a performing artist in terms of singing live on stage at certain venues, at certain events. But the good news are I'm going on a journey to find myself musically, to see how far I can stretch my artistry, to explore new avenues, and to put more focus also in my role as the founder and the director of Luvuthando Girls Leadership Academy, which is a project that is really very close to my heart. And I know that it's going to need my undivided attention. And this project is going to start next year. So I just wanted to take a step back and go behind the scenes and really plow my knowledge, passion, my experience into young, up and coming game changers, leaders. And this academy is specialized in fashion, music, and arts, which are three industries that I'm passionate about. I'm excited to embark on this new journey, and I will keep you guys posted. I hope that you will walk this journey with me, that you will share my videos, my channel, and that you will go check out the website and maybe recommend your children or any talented young females that would be part of this program, because every year I will start off with 21 girls, and I'm hoping to launch the academy in March next year, God willing. I'm really proud of myself that I finally put a halt on something that has been causing so much doubt, because I just felt that I'm not being fulfilled like I used to before, and that I'm not having an impact the way that God wants me to. I feel that God has a much bigger plan for me, a much bigger stage, even if it's backstage, but I'm up for it. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen. Of course, I would like to share some more, but I also don't want to have a long video. So please subscribe, share, and comment, and let's walk this path together. Let's life together.